the fire department stations. And that's all communications back and forth. And then the incident command forwards the messages back and forth to the relay station and back and forth to the county EOC. The reason we use the logbook on site is because there's no time to fill out any forms. There's no desks or anything like that. You're walking around carrying your logbook. No place to store forms. You don't even know where the addressee is most of the time because the guy that you're walking with doesn't know what the addressee is. You got to act quickly and accurately. So scribble it down in your personal notebook. Don't worry about what it looks like, whether you got cross-outs in or anything else, because you can always go back later and say to yourself, what did I mean when I wrote this down? And then write it out clearly in plain language. On the site, message goes from Sergeant Bilko to the headquarters station. Headquarters station records everything in their personal logbook. Then the headquarters station originates a message and it communicates it back to Sergeant Bilko. Or Sergeant Bilko verifies the message is correct, notifies the headquarters station, and the headquarters station sends it out. So that's the back and forth communications you would have. And it allows everybody a chance to log the information in their personal logbook, verify that it's correct. Now let's look at the forms. We got the radiogram and the ICS 213. And who knows, there may be some other form that some served agency wants us to use. Maybe the hospital has a different form that they want us to use. We don't know. But our default is the radiogram. This is an antique one, which is actually a postcard, penny postcard. Mm-hmm. And that's the one that we're using now. There's 4 sections to it: the preamble, or the gazinta, the address, the text, and the signature, the kamada. Number, that's the serial number for the message. You, as the station of origin, assign that number. It can be anything you want, but we do need to have numbers because that's the best way to keep track of what the radiograms are. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't go crazy with the numbers. Start off with 1, 2, 3, and so forth. That's what I've done, and I'm up over 400. Yes, you could. There are other times when you might want to use an alphanumeric thing. SVC stands for a service message. So if you got a message and the message number was 57, and the message asked you to reply to the originator, then your reply message would be SVC 57. You keep the 57 the number, but precede it with SVC. You can also put a T or a D in front of it if it's just a fictitious message, just for training purposes. And as I mentioned, the software out there doesn't seem to like letters in it. Anyway, precedence. The precedence, it's a fancy word. What it means is it's the importance of the message. And you have several different kinds of importance or precedences: emergency, priority, welfare, routine, and test. Test is a precedence as well. Now, I have to say here that these initials, the P, the W, and the R, were primarily used for Morse code. When you're sending a message in Morse code, you don't spell out priority or welfare or routine. You just put the P, W, or R. But emergency is always spelled out, whether it's in voice or in Morse code. So if it's an emergency, you wouldn't say priority. You wouldn't say routine. You would say emergency. I spell Echo Mike, Echo Romeo, Golf, Echo November, Charlie, Yankee. It would be spelled out when you send the message. If in doubt, don't call something emergency unless you're absolutely positive. Then you got your hotel X-ray codes. If there's no hotel X-ray, just leave the box blank. And here's an example of some commonly used X-ray hotel X-ray codes.
Man, I don't want to go too low. I've got to make some money on this. I'm not going to get the penny warm with these damn rookies.
Next, we have the station of origin. That's you. If, I don't know, if Nancy Pelosi asked you to send a message, you're the station of origin. Nancy Pelosi's location, Washington, D.C., may be here, but you are the station of origin. The only thing that should be in here is your call letters, and the only symbol, punctuation mark, is a slash mark. For instance, WA2CCN, but I'm in Pennsylvania, so it would be a /3. And that call sign stays with the message all the time, and that's where any return messages go to, the station of origin. Then we've got our check number. That's the number of word groups in the message. And the only interesting thing about that is whenever you're using an ARL code, in which case the ARL initials would precede the number. Here's some example. I think the ARRLs came up with the ARL codes to shorten message lengths. There's two groups, real world emergencies, and the group 2 is for routine messages. Here's an example. The ARL code 52 is really enjoyed being with you, looking forward to getting together again. It saved 11 words just by saying ARL 52. Okay, place of origin, we already talked about that. That's where Nancy Pelosi would live, in Washington, D.C. And that's where the message, any return message, would actually go to, back to Washington, D.C., to Nancy. Time is only used for emergency and priority time value messages. It's not used for routine stuff. And we try to use 24-hour format to avoid AM/PM problems. You can use either local time or the Zulu 2150, 0215 Zulu, or you can make it 0215 Lima if it was local. Time is usually admitted unless it's, like I said, a time value thing. And the same applies to date. Dates are the day when the message is originated. Personally, I use 23 January, but you can use January 23. And the year is usually omitted in that date. We don't say January 23, 2021, because at the end of it's kind of implied what the year is. Okay, that brings us up to date. That only took 7 minutes. Radiogram address section. The address should include the recipient's name, amateur call if possible, address, street, city, town, etc., and his contact information. If you don't have contact information, don't even bother taking the message. It's not worth it. It's going to cause trouble on the air when you try to deliver it. And unless it's a priority or emergency, don't even take a message unless you have contact information. When you do middle initials, junior, senior, all kinds of stuff, there's no period after it. Just put the initials in. There's no periods after street or Ave. There's no comma between city and state. Just eliminate as many of the punctuations as you can during the address section. When you give the zip code, even though it is 5 digits long, you don't say number group. You just say zip figures, blah, 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 and give it out that way. Phone numbers are given in 3 sections. You'd say, once again, instead of number groups, 2 of the 3 groups are only 3 digits long. So it'd be figures. Phone figures 570-390-1234. Bull. Okay. Going to Bill Belichick. In the address, care of New England Patriots, Foxborough, Massachusetts. From Tom Brady, quarterback. Used to work for you. Subject, Okay, date and time, boom. I mean, this is a no-brainer. Then you got a spot where you can put your message in. And then when you're all finished, it should be approved by somebody. Yeah, obviously, if you're sending a message, you can't get their signature, so you would just leave that blank. But you can put their position and title in there. Quarterback. Okay? It looks like it's simple, but what's missing?
Preamble.
I don't see a message number. I don't see a precedence in it. How important is it? I don't see who the originating station is. I don't see where the message originated. I don't see any kind of a check number to verify if the message is correct. These are all important things. Well, a lot of ham radio operators started modifying this form, and the ARRL and the National Traffic System got their noses bent out of shape. The federal government got their nose bent out of shape, threatened suits for copyright infringement and everything. So the rule is we are not allowed to make any changes to this form.
She looks like she's harmless, but she can hurt you. She almost broke my arm when she did.
I'm taking a break here because it's very obvious.
Ed, I answered your question in chat for Hank.
Okay, we already went through the problems with the ICS 213. This is just reiterating them. And all of that stuff is part of the preamble. The original ICS 213 was based on an inter-office memo pad where a secretary would take the scribbled memo and deliver it to the next office. And it's been used and used and used, and that's how it kind of evolved into this standard message. On the plus side, you can put paragraphs of text in the message. There's no limit on the number of words that you can put into it. So I already went through modifying it. Don't do it. So how can we deal with that lack of information? We kill it. We kill it. Key information legend line. So what we do is in the message portion where we can put anything we want, we're not changing the form. We put K7A, we put a message number, a priority, an importance, handling instructions, a check number, place of origin. We can put all of that in there. You'll notice I did not put the station of origin because that's kind of covered in the routing. And then you put your actual text, 7B, and 7C is the routing, from, to, date, and time. And here's an example. Route 191 crash, blah, blah, blah is the incident name. Message going to Steve Price, Director, Wayne County EMA, at Wayne County EMA, 570-253-1622. From Pete Hooker, Deputy Director, Wayne County EMA, Incident Commander. Subject, Waltons, date and time. Here's our kill. It's message number 14. It's a priority. Check 14 in Equinox, Pennsylvania is a location. Here's the text. and I'm using drill because this is a fictitious one. Need 3 standard wall tents as soon as possible. Initial X-ray. Please advise ETA, initial X-ray, 73. And you would spell this out the same way you would normally spell out a radiogram. Drill, need, figure 3, standard wall tents, letter group Alpha Sierra Alpha Papa, initial X-ray. Please advise initials Echo Tango Alpha, initial X-ray, figure 7-3, drill. Hooker, that's Mr. Hooker up here, gave the message to K0PB, time and date. K0PB sent it to KZ3 Mike Whiskey, time and date. Mike Whiskey gave it to Steve Price, time and date, etc. That's how you would do the routing. This fixes all the problems. On the reply, you also put a kill. Okay, message number 14, same message number, priority, check. It originated at the EOC. 9B, text, drill, scheduled, initials Echo Tango Alpha, for tents is mixed group. 1120 Lima, initial X-ray, figure 7-3, drill. Routing, price to Mark. Mark sends it to Pocono Bob. And this is wrong. This should be Pocono Bob gives it to Hooker. Got to fix that. And it was sent by Steve Price, Director EMA, and so forth. Got it so far? Should I save it to next week, or the balance to next week, or go on?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
The Form 213, is it intended so that anybody that sees that form understands the content? Because we're modifying the form to be a radiogram for us on the amateur radio, but would anybody else be able to interpret our kill information?
Probably not. Probably not. When you deliver it to somebody, they won't know what that code line there means. So what? It's important to us so that we can keep accurate records from a liability standpoint or whatever. However, they should understand the routing that's down at the bottom. Make sense?
Hank, who's the us?
Yeah, I guess so.
Another question?
Yes, Hank, who's the us?
Hi, Ed.
ARES organization?
What was that?
When you said, that it makes sense to us, who's that? Is that the ARES organization as opposed to like the served agency?
Yes.
No, the ham radio operators that are communicating this on the air. That's really the only reason it's there. And it's there with a check number to make sure I've got the message correctly. There's a number so that I can keep track of it. It's telling me how important this message is, whether it's routine, I don't have to run around, or it's a priority or an emergency that I better get my ass over to the person and deliver it. It's really of use only to the amateur radio operator.
And could you just say one more time what the KILL acronym stands for?
Key Information Legend Line.
Got it.
I had a hard time figuring that one out because I wanted to kill it. And it works. We have beta tested this on as far as I know, 7 different counties have used it in some of their drills, and I've gotten excellent responses from all of them. In fact, there was a couple of suggestions that came back that help refine it to the way that it is.
So it really sounds like there needs to be some pre-communication that this will be standard operating procedure.
It is here in Eastern Pennsylvania because I got that approval from George, and we've distributed it around to everybody, the instruction book.
What's George's role?
George is the section manager.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, I got his permission to beta test it, with other counties. early on so that he knew what was going on. And, you know, it kind of grew from there. And then one county would contact me and say, hey, I heard these other guys are using blah, blah, blah. Can I do it too? And it kind of grew that way.
Great.
We'll save the rest until next week. Otherwise, I won't have anything to talk about next week. Let me stop the sharing here. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I guess I got a question. Why, if we're the amateur radio group, the ARES group is the only one seeing this message, why do we have to revert to the 213 instead of a radiogram? If we're the only one seeing it.
That's a good question. Right now, this quote kill form is in its infancy, and it is not approved by the ARRL or any other entity beyond Eastern Pennsylvania. The next step, of course, is to introduce it to the ARRL and emphasize the fact that we are not violating their rules and regulations, which says we are not allowed to change the form. Some people actually took the preamble and pasted it at the top of the form and called it ICS 213 AR for amateur radio. And that really got everybody's nose all bent out of shape. But we're not doing anything wrong here. We are literally using the form as is, because we are free to put anything we want into that message box. So that was it's the simple key that made it all happen.
Can I give a little piece of advice from down here in the Lone Star State?
Go ahead there, Lee.
Hi, Tank. Hi, ARES. Miss you guys.
Just bragging now.
Oh, Lee.
I just want to make a quick suggestion. I'm not sure how widespread you guys are using 213s with served agencies at this point, but down here, they're pretty much a weekly, if not a daily occurrence. And the drills that we do, at least one a week with the 213s from point of origin to point of reception. First of all, as you said, they can't be changed. If they're changed, the receiving agency will not accept them. They have to be stripped of any information that's not delineated on the 213. But say we're in the field at a pod, for example. We just recently did a vaccination pod exercise where we sent out operators to 7 different pods in our area that were giving out testing for free and inoculations right next door if you tested positive for healthcare workers. So we sent out a 2-person team with a radio. We were using repeaters for this, obviously, we weren't going HF, but with a radio operator and a logger for every pod. When the pod manager, in this case, they were all COM-Ls, communications leaders, requested a piece of information be sent to the EOC Transstar. Immediately, the 213 was filled out by the radio operator, and it was either digitally sent, because we use digital over repeaters here too, or it was read verbatim into the EOC, where it was transcribed onto a 213, which was immediately printed out and placed into the record by the EOC, which is why they don't want any extraneous information. Any 213s that are generated during a disaster, anytime FEMA is involved or Homeland Security, they are going to want a printed copy of that 213 to go into the official record. Just saying that maybe you should watch out for that. I don't know, once again, if Steve Price and Pete are really going to care one way or the other at your level. But if you do work for something like say the, God forbid something happens down with the nuclear plant or the Wallenpaupack Dam. See, I haven't forgotten about those yet. And you do take part in a wide area network drill or, God forbid, an actual event. you may be actually passing on 213s, or in the case of what you just said, Army COTS, that would be a 213 RR, which is a resource request. We don't pass on requests for equipment using a 213. It's done through ICS 213 RR. You would be passing on a 213, it would be a message of import, not a request for resource. That's done on a separate form.
Yeah, we haven't gotten that far yet.
Well,
We're
I'm just
still
trying to
over-
keep you, if you can avoid the potholes early on,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
you just brought up a good thing. There's no reason in the world when we could not say in the kill line 7A, number 57, importance, priority, or routine or something like that. We could spell it out, which then would become meaningful to whoever read it instead of just putting down the brief forms, which, if you think about it, ain't a bad idea, because within the ICS 213 format, you can make the message as long as possible. You're not limited to 25 words. So there's no reason in the world why we couldn't just spell that all out too.
okay, well, also another thing that we also do, when that point of origination to a relay, if we use a relay to EOC, sends a 213, rather than put their personal ham information on the 213 to keep it legit, every operator uses a 214. I don't know, have you guys started to talk about the 214? That's the individual operator activity log that everybody should have when they first arrive on scene. That's the equivalent of your little notebook there that is for your own accountability and also for scene accountability, where you would make a copy of that and hand it into your local area commander at the end of your shift so they know what you did. So technically you could put down at 1715 Zulu, sent ICS 213 from this person to this person on your 214. This way it keeps the 213s neat, and you have a record of everything that you did that would go to the incident commander for a reconciliation after the fact. Just as a suggestion. That's just how we do it. We're just crazy down here with our 213. So I hope you never have to get that way.
WT is the one who drummed into my brain the use of the personal logbook.
Yeah, that kill thing drove him nuts.
Yeah,
It really did.
If you put everything that happens in your personal logbook later on, you know, in case of a liability, or whether it's just a debriefing to improve the process and so forth, that logbook with time, date, what we did, blah, 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 becomes very valuable.
Well, I'm of the school of thought that if you don't write it down, you didn't do it.
Yeah.
Plus, if you're called into court 4 years down the line, you're not going to remember what you did 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I did 4 days ago.
Yeah.
You're going to want that 214 in your hand. So if they ask, hey, what did you do on such and such a date during this emergency?
Yeah. Outstanding. Ed, do you have your call letters on your thing there? Your name?
I don't, but I can put it on real quick here.
You know how to do it?
Yeah, I do. I
You
do.
don't want to log that.
Sure. Kilo Delta 2 Tango Victor Zulu. Stop the video.
It's time to get out while you still can.
Click, click, mouse, mouse, mouse.
All right.
All right, great. All right, well, let's go around the horn here. Dave, KD2 MOB. Any comments, questions, suggestions, complaints?
The going over the ICS 213 is great, and it's a good idea that you have so much space in box 7 as well as box 9.
Yeah.
That to have a 7A, 7B, 7C within for the kill, the text, and the routing, you could fit a lot of information in there, and it's good. And you're not changing the form itself, which is fantastic. Then not a bad idea to keep this to have a kill in the ICS 213, which is us amateur radio operators
Right.
would understand it better than most. But it's very good, and thanks for going over the 213 tonight.
No problem. Bobby, WXD, RWD.
No comments, no questions, Hank.
Okay. Let's see, Alan, KB3 UPT. Good to see you, my friend. And how you doing?
Doing very well, thank you. The form thing has always confused me too, and I think the NIMS and ICS system is a little demanding and perhaps should allow some flexibility, particularly if they're going to use services like we provide. So I've always been kind of just conflicted on using that. I do want to use it, and I think your solution is the best one going yet. Over.
All right, Peter, KC3 POC.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty informative and it's detailed enough. I have some new concerns because we interjected this 214 form in here now, so I'm not sure where we fit into that. ICS 214 requires information about an ICS position. I'm not sure what our position individually would be.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to go over that a little bit in detail.
Amateur
For
radio.
the time being, we're going to continue to use the personal logbook. Down the road, we'll get into, frankly, there's a bunch of other forms too that, we can be working on, but we'll do that. And the other thing is, up here, in a real emergency, I have a feeling that the EOC is going to use their own communications capabilities for most of the priority and emergency stuff. The only time that we would get involved is if they are really overwhelmed with a lot of communications, which means that they're getting a lot of routine stuff and they need to be freed up to concentrate on the important stuff. So in a real world situation, we probably are going to be defaulting to the normal radiogram, especially for health and welfare type things. Get a message to Mildred, let her know I'm okay type of a thing. That's really how we probably would work. And I guess this is not a general situation for the whole country. Each different area is entirely different. When Lee was telling me about the ARES organization and what's going down in his neck of the woods, it's just mind-boggling compared to what we're doing. But just that heads up. Okay, John, let's see, SMI, your comments. You need to change your name too.
Yeah, too many Johns. Yeah, I enjoyed everything. I'm just learning and seeing why you do certain things a certain way. And it's very interesting. And thank you very much for all you do.
I appreciate that. Okay, Ed, any further comments?
I'm also kind of a newbie and just kind of picking this stuff up. So just some very basic questions. What's your source for the forms? The only way I kind of find a form is when I'm on WinLink, but there must be some other place that these are found, right?
Well, if you go on to the FEMA website,
okay,
Federal Emergency Management Agency, they have these forms on that website and they're fillable. You can just download the form and type into it. Great. Or print it out and handwrite into it. And the ARRL, you can go there and they sell pads of radiogram forms, or they also have the fillable form that's available online.
And there appeared to be many rules of the road of radiograms that you were referencing.
Yep.
And that I've heard you on our Wednesday night calls. And we appreciate that. But what's a good source for that basic information?
Me. Well,
what's another source for those good?
The ARRL, if you go onto the ARRL's website,
Okay,
along the top, there'll be a public service thing that you can click.
okay,
And if you click that, on the left-hand side, they'll have a whole bunch of different things, among which is ARES and NTS. You want to click on NTS, the National Traffic System.
okay.
And in that is a manual, a National Traffic System manual. And that's got everything in it with all kinds of examples of how to do it and so forth. It's very, very comprehensive. It's too comprehensive. In my opinion, it needs to be simplified, but it's very, very thorough, and it's a very good book. I want to show you guys one other thing, if I can find it quick. Let me see if I can throw this thing back up here. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. Okay, when I fill out a radiogram, when I was first learning how to do it, I would fill a thing out and then I would put right over here a little F, and that stands for figures. So when I was sending the thing out, Tom Sforza, I spell Sierra Foxtrot Oscar Romeo Zulu Alpha, Amateur Call Kilo Charlie 3 Quebec November Sierra, figures 210, Michael common spelling Lane, Stroudsburg, initials Papa Alpha, I put an I there, and the same thing in the text, initial X-ray, little F for figure 7-3. If I had mixed group, I would put an M next to it, or an N for a number group, or a W for a word group. And that helped me use the proper pro words when I was sending out a radiogram. And like I said, I just did this when I was in the learning stages so that I didn't screw up too bad.
No, that's a good hook.
All right, Keith, KC3NDU, down there in the bottom of my screen. How you doing, buddy? Still no volume, still no audio.
We can see your mouth moving.
We can see, yeah, you can use hand signals, you know. Okay, you're very good. John, KB3ZW, what you got?
Well, good evening to everybody. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
I just got my microphone and camera yesterday and was playing around with it, trying to get things going. I have to echo Dave's comments about the session here. I agree with him and you 100%, and it's a little different than Army Mars, that's for sure. But great training, Hank, and thank you very much.
No problem at all. Rob, KC3QPC, can you hear me? I can see you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I couldn't get my camera to work. The computer's telling me that I need to reboot in order for the camera to work, so I don't want to do that in the training session.
Okay, good.
And so far as the training, I think it's great. This is all new to me. At some point, I guess I'll peruse the ARL website and take a look at some of the training materials there, maybe get a personal logbook for myself. I also tend to agree with you that in real life emergency, they would probably handle the emergency priority traffic themselves. I know at least in recent years, Pike County's required a lot of trailways, vehicles and whatnot, as well as a lot of part-time employees that I've seen utilize or utilizing us.
Yeah, okay. I do have some news here.
Hank, real quick, that echo is coming from Keith, by the way. He got his mic working if you want to say hello now.
Okay, good.
Hey, Hank.
All right, now we can hear you.
Got it. I had some technical difficulties, buddy. I'm sorry. I missed some of your presentation.
All right, any comments?
No, just I have copies of the form. I had put some things together, but I missed a lot of your presentation this evening. I wish I would have been here for it, but I had some technical difficulties. I had to reboot several times.
I have it
But I
all
think
recorded. I'll put it up on a video on the ARES site for you guys after I compress it.
Yeah,
Oh,
Lee,
beautiful, Lee. Thank you.
Lee, I'm going to email the PowerPoint presentation to you, and you can put it right in our website.
You could do that, or you could just have me put the video of tonight's Zoom meeting up that I'm recording.
All right. I have good news. Anne Marie and I have an appointment Monday up at Wayne County Hospital for our COVID-19 vaccine. So we had registered for it a long time ago and heard nothing, and we're wondering what the hell's going on. And today, I was sitting here on the computer, and bang, on the side of the screen, I saw a message come in from Wayne County Memorial Hospital. I clicked on that, and it said, we have a session, click here to register. I got yelled for Amory. She came in, I got on, boom, boom, boom. We did it, and within the first 2 minutes, we were registered. And I think within 15 minutes, the thing was filled up.
Yeah.
So we were fortunate to be able to get in, and so Monday they're going to stick us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody have any further comments, questions, suggestions, complaints, or whatever that like to bring up at this time? Next Thursday, we'll finish up the PowerPoint presentation, and I really appreciate everybody's cooperation and checking in. I hope it was valuable asset to you. And, you know, this is the kind of thing, just like any other training, you just got to keep it up and hammering it, and all of a sudden it becomes second nature. So, and witnessed by tonight's net. We had 10 guys on the net. I sent out a radiogram. Everybody copied it. You know, check numbers were correct and so forth. That you guys are getting good. Now I just got to get you to start sending some. All right.
All right.
Hey, Hank, real quick,
Yeah.
I put a link to the video that I made last year when I was indoctrinated into our emergency comm center up here. Oh, but I'm not a cat, but
You're an attorney. An attorney.
so I'm not a cat. I don't know how to get rid of this. I put it into the chat. So if anybody wants to see the video tour that I took when I just got my socks blown off, and I want you guys to know, for those of you that don't know, this is all Hank's fault. Before I met Hank, I didn't know anything about ARES. I didn't know anything about emergency communications. And now I'm down here in the most disaster-prone area in the United States. I've been deployed 8 times to 8 different hurricane, oil refinery fires, and I am just having the time of my life. I'm going for my FEMA instructor credentials to be able to teach CommT, CommL, AUXComm throughout the entire world, let alone the United States, and it's all because of Hank. So you guys have an excellent EC up there. And whatever.
I'm very proud of Lee. He was like a sponge. He just kept sucking up information and asking for more, and did a great job. Great job.
And it all started with you, buddy.
By the way, Lee is now the net manager for the Salvation Army Team Emergency Radio Network. And they have a daily net on 20 meters, and he's the guy.
And that and $1 will get me on the subway.
I never saw a cat wear glasses before. That was pretty good. That's pretty good.
And it's going to take you more than $1 to get on the subway.
Hey, you want to see something interesting? This is one that I made for my daughter yesterday, and I Zoomed with her. She's in grad school in Boston College, and she had a bunch of friends with her. They're all under COVID lockdown up there, but she had a bunch of friends in there, and she wanted to say hi, and she Zoomed in with me. And this is what I made myself.
Looks like Lady Gaga.
You didn't realize I was going to do it. So I took the dark glasses off.
Oh, geez.
And she was, can you imagine a 26-year-old girl seeing her dad on a Zoom channel?
By the way, Robbie.
You can just imagine how well that went over with my daughter. So
I think you look better.
oddly enough, my
Yeah,
wife
especially,
said the same thing.
especially with the beard.
Well,
Okay, guys.
that's how our women are down here. They all have beards.
Thanks again for your participation, and it's been a good net tonight and a good video gathering. And keep in mind, this website or this video conferencing room is open 24/7. I'm in here periodically. Lee's almost always in here. You know, if you want to talk ham radio or whatever, pop in. And the focus is obviously on emergency communications. Yeah, Dave, go ahead.
Yes, one announcement. I think I'm going to try a radiogram on Wednesday at the Northeast New Jersey ARES net with Fairlawn, Passaic County, and Bergen County. And I wrote a lot of this down tonight. Great lesson, excellent session tonight.
Thank you.
You are all invited. We're on Echolink, so if you do have Echolink capabilities, we're on the W2 NPT Echolink repeater, Whiskey 2 November Papa Tango, and we're also on KD2 BKD-L as well. So looking forward to having you guys join us on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. You're all more than welcome to join us. 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Well, thanks for the invitation, Dave.
Yep.
Thank you.
Question.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Dave, can you repeat that again?
Whiskey 2 November Papa Tango, W2 NPT.
Isn't it /R or something?
Yeah, R for repeater, yes.
Okay, so hold on. W2
November Papa Tango.
Yeah, November Papa Tango.
And slash?
Slash R.
Romeo.
Yes, Romeo. So we're on every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. and be great to have you guys. Well, I'm sure I'm going to make some mistakes going over the radiogram, but there'll be people there to fix my mistakes if there are any. But I'm
glad to help.
I'm jumping in. And
okay.
It's only learning.
Anything else, guys? All right, I'm going to go watch some TV with the XYL. 73s, thanks for checking in. I've got you all logged in, and we'll put that into our. Yeah, Pete, did you have anything else, or is that a bye-bye?
No.
It's a bye-bye. Okay. All right, guys. We'll see you.
Okay. Have a nice evening, everybody. Enjoy the weekend. Stay
Have
safe.
a good night, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Take care, guys.
Hey,
Take
Lee.
Let me stop recording real quick in case you're going to get dirty with me.
Lee, hang on.
I'm not going anywhere. This is my channel.